Hello and welcome to Comics with Jose. My name is Jose. I love comics and I want to share them with you. Follow me on Twitter at Art of J. Velez or on Instagram at jvelez622 where I share some doodles that I work on and a little comic book story that I'm currently working on as well, free of charge. I do this for fun and I just enjoy talking and sharing comic books. Like, follow, and subscribe if you like the channel. We're going to go over comic book stories that I have. I own a lot of comic books over the years. We're going to use digital, however, because it's easier to share on digital on your computer screen or phone. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me and my squeaky voice as we are going to be looking at Orion Volume 1, Number 2. Written and drawn by the one and only Walter Simonson. We did issue 1 about a week or so ago, and today we will be looking at issue number 2 from 2000, the year 2000. So this is the cover. Walter Simonson is he's one of my most favorite. He's got an amazing signature. So, in the cover, we of course have Orion here, and then his mother Tigra, but kind of ghoulish. So, I don't know why this was the choice, the artistic choice to show her looking ghoulish, because it does not appear that way inside, but nonetheless. So, we start out with someone reading a newspaper, and they say that in mainline Nebraska, a mysteriously zombified. Of course, we know that Darkseid is involved, and we get a double-page spread of the Newsboys Legion, created by Jack Kirby during his run in the 70s. Walter Simonson is heavily inspired by Kirby. I am not a huge Kirby fan. However, I am a huge Simonson fan. So Simonson is just an amazing artist, an incredible writer as well, but his art is just so good. So the Newsboy Legion decides they want to investigate kind of what's going on. So off they go. And Jimmy Olsen, who was walking down in Metropolis, is snatched by them. He was a big part with the Newsboy Legion in the 70s. So we go elsewhere. I knock on the door and it's Turpin. And he meets Detective Lincoln and wants to let him know that the new gods are back. He says he hasn't heard it, but he says here it could be about to change, and a boom tube is behind them, and from the boom tube appears Orion. And Orion is here to tell him that Darkseid is on Earth, and that they should notify all the law enforcement agencies. And Orion leaves, and Turpin begins to call. In Lincoln, Nebraska, it's confusing because that guy's name was Lincoln, and now we're going to Lincoln, Nebraska, the state capital. They are looking at ways of how to deal with that town. And Darkseid wants to begin phase 3 because he finds the first 2 phases have gone well, and that the townsfolk have a lot of weapons in case something happens, which of course we know it's a comic book. We know that it's the Adventures of Orion, so we know something is going to happen. So Now in Apocalypse, Justine is still trying to kill Tigra. So kind of we're going really fast. I mean, I mean, he's moving this along. He's just spending a page or two, and sometimes just a half a page in one scene, and then going to another scene. So he's moving quickly, Simonson here. Once again, so we are in New Genesis in the bottom of this page, and look, he just puts in just a little bit. You can tell it's a river here. He doesn't have to draw every tree. He doesn't. He just gives you enough. You can tell what it is, and so Tiger's alone with her thoughts. She's not happy being in New Genesis. She hears a twig snap. She sees two young lovers, and she is upset. She doesn't believe in love, and they scares them, and they go away. And then we have a flashback scene. I like that it's black and white. I love it when they give you some kind of visual trigger. I've always said that in movies and in comic books and any kind of visual media, you should be given some kind of trigger that you're moving forwards and backwards. Whether you're doing it black and white, doing just something. I think visual triggers are wonderful for when you're doing something in the past. Um, she has been ordered to marry Darkseid, but she's in love with one of the captains. However, Darkseid knows and kills him with his Omega beams, and then has her taken to his room. And he tells her that if she would have given him a son, she could do whatever she wants. But um, she has to pay now. I wanted to just real quick. Darkseid is always drawn with his hands behind. Everyone puts his hands behind. So we're back in Nebraska, and they get notification that Orion is in there. Once again, we get just enough so that you can see. Simonson doesn't have to draw everything. Here's a road, here's the town, the fields. So he sees that car, sees that there's nothing. A girl calls for help, says someone's after her, and it's all the ones with the guns. They're all shooting at Orion now. He doesn't want to hurt them because he knows that they're just pawns used by Darkseid. And he uses the mother box to see if he can detect what's going on, but it says that their brains are empty. Just another trope of Simonson, if you can see the blasts, and just it's just beautiful. I love how he draws. I incorporate this in my drawings when I do some kind of energy or anything like that. So a very cool picture here of Orion. He's demanding Darkseid show himself. And we see the Newsboy Legion is also heading there. Darkseid is worried because he knows that Orion knows that Darkseid is there. So, back in New Genesis, another boom tube. Here come those suicide jockeys. They found her. She disposes them. However, one gets her, and he detonates himself. She's weak, sees that the boom tube is still open, and escapes through it. She needs to reach Orion. So, he notices that he can't move, and he's gonna crash into those people. And one of them shoots at him. He's falling. They're gonna shoot him again with an apocalyptian gutbuster. And you can see Florid Jimmy flatten him, as you can see Jimmy Olsen is coming with the Newsboy Legion. They hit him. They also can't move. And that it looks like they're going to crash, but a boom tube opens up. They're going into the boom tube, and they go through the boom tube, and Tigra comes out of the boom tube, and she falls. Orion calls her, and Darkseid says that they're going to be witnessing the beginning of the end. And there's up here is all the citizens, and they begin to walk, and it looks like we have the anti-life equation here, which is what Darkseid is looking for. And Orion says that Darkseid has finally accessed the anti-life equation. So Orion, Volume 1, Number 2, from the year 2000, written and drawn by Walter Simonson, and of course the wonderful lettering of John Workman. Like, follow, subscribe.